What were tariffs like before Trump? I'm sure you've seen the news about Trump's trade wars and the tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. Trump has paused the 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada for now, but the 10% tariffs on China remain in place. All this made me wonder what the tariff situation was before Trump started his second term. So let's take a look. For Canada and Mexico, there were no tariffs as a result of the North America Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, which was in place from 1994 until 2020. From 2020 until now, a new similar agreement has been in place. It is called the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA, and it was actually proposed and signed by Trump himself. For China, it's more complicated. Before Trump imposed the additional 10% tariffs, there were already various levels of tariffs for various types of Chinese goods coming into the US. For electric vehicles, there were 100% tariffs, which will now be 110%. For semiconductors, there were 50% tariffs, which will now be 60%. For consumer electronics such as TVs and smartphones, there were no tariffs, so they'll go from 0% to 10%. While we're on the subject of tariffs, I'd like to point out something inaccurate that I've heard some people saying. Some people are saying that 25% tariffs would mean the price Americans pay for products would increase by 25%, but this is not true. The tariff is not applied to the sale price of the final product, but is a percentage of the value of the item being imported into the US. Let's say, for example, a Canadian company is importing a bottle of maple syrup valued at $4 into the US in order to sell it for $10. The company would pay 25% tariffs, which would be $1. If the company decides to pass on that cost to the American buyer, the price will increase from $10 to $11, which is a 10% increase, not a 25% increase. And there's also other factors to take into account, like the fact that some companies may absorb the extra cost instead of passing it on to consumers.